You're listening to the Client Catching Podcast, the show that uncovers how high-performing service-based business leaders are successfully navigating the ocean of complexity around growing their business. Now, as anyone with the talent and guts to start a business knows, it takes a lot more to grow one than just being great at what you do, and you can't do it alone. So this podcast will show you how other captains of their own ship, just like you, have found the right strategy to catch more clients, simplified everything, and transform their business. So if you're ready to do the same, then jump aboard and join me, Adam King, host and the captain at Think Like a Fish, and let's go fishing. Hey, it's Adam here, and thanks so much for tuning into the show today. Now, before we dive into the episode, I just wanted to let you know how you can get hold of a free copy of my book, Conversational Relationship Marketing. Because inside, you're going to find 10 golden rules for B2B and professional service firms that consistently create client sales opportunities and drives revenue growth. And you'll find out how to do all of that using professionalism, ethics, and good manners. So what you can do to get your free copy is go to the podcast gift page at thinklikeafish.co.uk/podcast gift. And when you get hold of the book, what you're going to discover is a simple strategy to ensure that you consistently have a full calendar of motivated and qualified ideal potential clients who want to discuss doing business with you. And what I'm literally doing is giving away the exact entire strategy that my clients pay thousands to implement with them. Not only that, I share throughout the book links to templates, frameworks, and workbooks that you can use to actually implement this strategy and get results. And it's all for free, no strings attached. In fact, there isn't even an opt-in. So please make sure you go and grab your copy on the podcast gift page at thinklikeafish.co.uk/podcast gift. And if you want to grab some of the other gifts and resources that I offer there, please help yourself. So I hope you go and get the book. I hope you read it. And more importantly, I hope you do something with it. And when you do, I'd love to get your feedback on the results that you've got. But until then, let's get to today's episode. Hello, welcome to the Client Catching Podcast. Now, just me today, and I've got something that I want to share with you, which will give you a bit of a framework to consider how to generate a flow of high quality inbound new client inquiries for a professional service, if you're an advisor, if you are a B2B business. And it's a bit of a metaphor, and you'll be surprised if you are a regular listener to the show that it doesn't involve fishing. So the reason that I'm sort of looking at discussing this today is that all too often I hear the same story. People come to me and they talk about, well, I've searched and searched for proven ways to generate new client inquiries, but I just feel confused and frustrated more than ever because nothing I try is actually working to the level that I want it to work at. Now, if that does sound like you, maybe you're sick and tired of being disappointed and frustrated after having read all the marketing books, attended webinars, seminars when you could go to those things, and maybe you've tried even implementing like crazy, only to find that the results were not that great. Then if that is you, then I'm just going to kind of like describe the simple, a bit of a formula, I guess, that you can use to get rid of all that complication and confusion. And the metaphor that I'm going to use is I'm going to show you a way that this will hopefully make sense for you and make it easy to grasp. And that's using a bit of a metaphor around how growing your business is like a successful investor grows a portfolio. Now, I spent time back in my corporate days working from wealth management firms and all the rest of it, and I did get the benefit of talking with a number of investors. So this is sort of a bit of a metaphor that has come from sort of that world. But what a lot of people don't actually realize is that some of the greatest investors and traders of all time, they only make money on around 20 to 30% of their investments. Right? And just like investing, right? When growing your business, there's two key indicators that will determine whether or not you're showing that steady upward curve or maybe a downwards or a bit of a zigzag, right? And those numbers, those key indicators are the number of sales opportunities. And if we were talking trading, it's trading opportunities in investing. And the second is win rate. And that's it. It's that simple when you look at it. Now, Obviously, there is a little bit more that goes into it to sort of, look at and be able to compare those numbers. But when you actually start with just these two, it really does help you to see what you need to focus on first, right? Because think about it. A 20% win rate with 50 sales opportunities will bring in far more clients than a 70% win rate, but with only 5 sales opportunities. Now, unfortunately, many people out there, I think, try to convince us that it's more complicated than that. But really, I think that the truth is complication will kill your business. Now, let me talk you through what I mean. Because I'd say that 8 out of 10 people that I talk to about helping them improve their marketing, they ask me some variation of the following question, right? And it is, I'm not getting as many clients as I want. How do I get more? Right? Now, instead of launching into how they need to do, XYZ marketing tactic, what I do is I find out where they stand against these two indicators, the number of sales opportunities and their win rate. So I can then actually diagnose the problem, because it's only then will I be able to think about prescribing a solution. And the same applies for you in your business. So I ask them these sorts of questions, and you can think about these kind of questions for yourself as well. And it's things like, how many people who are ideal clients for you did you speak to last month? And to this, I will normally get one or two answers. And that is, first one is lots, usually over 50, or the second is not many, which is normally less than 10, right? Now, if the answer is lots, what you need to do to get more clients is that person, if that's you, you need to solve a win rate problem. And if the answer is not many, then to get more clients, what you're going to need to do is solve a sales opportunity problem. You see why it's just looking at these two numbers, and it makes things a little bit, not a little bit, but quite a lot more simple. Because you have to make sure that you're fixing the right problem. Because one of the most dangerous mistakes that you can make is trying to solve an opportunity problem when you have a win rate problem. Or vice versa, trying to fix a win rate problem when you have an opportunity problem. Now, maybe the savvy amongst you listening may well argue that there's a third indicator that actually impacts whether you will be a successful investor. Maybe you've done some yourself, a bit of trading, that kind of thing. And that is risk-reward ratio. Easy to say. Maybe not for me. And look, if that is you and you're thinking that, you'd be right. Because the only way someone can make money investing with a 20 or 30% win rate is when you're making at least 4 to 5 more on winning investments or trades than you're losing on the ones that go bad, right? Now, again, this applies when it comes to your marketing and growing your business. Because now and again, when I ask the question, I'll get that answer of lots, and then I will find out they've also got a high win rate. So surely that's good, right? Well, it's not always, because they're not managing their risk reward properly, meaning that they're either not making enough per client to turn a profit, so the value of the client is not high enough, or their lifetime value is not high enough, or they're spending more to create these opportunities than they're making on the sale, even with a high win rate. So they think that more clients is the answer to their problem. And in fact, their problem is that their risk-reward ratio is out of balance. So let me try and bring this to life with you. I'll give you a bit of an example and show you how this works with talking about a business that, let's say, has a goal of making 1 million per year in client revenue, right? Just because that is a nice round number, and it makes things a little bit easier to explain. Because what we can do is break it down and see that 1 million, give or take, is about 83,000 per month in revenue, in client revenue, which is a little easier to see how to achieve. And really, it lets us eat that elephant in smaller pieces, right? So to get to that 83,000 pounds per month, what you need to do is this. You need to have 40 sales opportunities with qualified prospects. And that is conversations, meetings, appointments, demos, presentations, whatever it is. And you need to have 40 of those a month. You need to maintain a 20% win rate on these sales opportunities, meaning that out of every 10 people that you talk to, you enroll 2 clients. And you need to have a client lifetime value for your service of £10,000. See, when you have this, what you'll end, and you will end up enrolling 20% of the 40 people that you speak to as clients. And if your service is priced so that your client lifetime value is at that 10,000 or above, you've just hit £1 million or dollars, depending on where you're listening, or euros if you're listening, right? But what I also want you to sort of see is this doesn't mean you necessarily need to charge 10,000 up front, because some will spend more, some may spend less. It just means that you collect on average 10,000 from each client over the span of their relationship with you. Now, this should minimize your minimum risk reward for this work, right? So what I want you to sort of think about is, can you see how simple it can be when you think about it? But isn't it, I guess, crazy how they can seem complicated unless you look through things in a different lens, right? You don't need, a bazillion of followers on social media. You don't need the latest Facebook advertising tactic, right? You just need 40 conversations with qualified individuals, right? And a good service offer that can convert 20% of them into working with you. Now, of course, you also need to be able to deliver the results that you promise, or you'll go out of business pretty quick, right? But I'm sure that you've got that sorted as you're listening to this. But how do you get those 40 opportunities, you might be thinking, right? Well, that's a little bit longer in the explanation than I really wanted to sort of cover on this episode. But one of the things that I do have available is a masterclass that walks you through how you can potentially do this for your business, and it's an on-demand training. If you want to go and have a look, it's at thinklikeafish.co.uk/masterclass. And it's basically, it will walk you through a strategy and system that I use to make this happen for both myself and my clients. So if you want to go and check that out, go and have a listen at thinklikeafish.co.uk/masterclass. And do let me know what you think of it and if it's been helpful. So that's it from me today. It was a bit of one that I wanted to sort of discuss. It'd been sort of going along in my head for a little bit, so I wanted to try and get that out. And I hope I explained it well, and that you sort of understand the importance of these two key numbers, and that you can start looking at your business through this lens, so that you can start seeing the real part of your business that requires that focus that needs to be improved. Because when you do these, when you sort of look at, okay, this is where my problem is in my business, this is where I need to focus, and then you can start to think, how am I going to do it? So it is incredibly powerful when you look at it like this, and I really do hope that I have, again, explained it in a way that is easy to understand, and you can go and actually have a look at your own stuff and see where you can make those improvements. So that's it from me today. As always, I'll speak to you soon, and happy fishing. So there we go. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some great ideas and found it really valuable, and you've got some things that you can now go off and do in your own business to help grow your business and attract and catch more clients. And if you have found it valuable and you can think of just one other person that may find some of these ideas helpful and help them grow their business, please share it with them, because they'll thank you for it. So also don't forget to grab a copy of my book, Conversational Relationship Marketing, from the podcast gift page at thinklikeafish.co.uk/podcast gift. And all that's really left with me to say is thank you ever so much for listening today. I know there's a lot of podcasts out there you could be listening to. You've chosen this one, and for that I am truly, truly grateful. If you're a first-time listener or a long-time listener and you haven't yet subscribed to the show, please make sure that you do, because you'll get updated of the latest episodes every time they come out. And if, again, you are enjoying it, I'd really, really appreciate a honest rating review on Apple Podcasts. I read every single one personally, and they do really mean the world to me. And yes, they help others find the show. If you're able to do that, again, I massively, massively appreciate it. But until next time, happy fishing.